Here.
Here.
Thank you, Norma. Moving to presentations under proclamation. Arbor Day, Tree City, USA. I'll read that proclamation. Whereas trees are one of the primary quality of life factors that a city government can provide for its citizens, and whereas trees are a delight for everybody, those who grow them and those who simply look on and enjoy their beauty. And whereas our community trees must be perpetuated to provide the benefits of aesthetics, shade, energy conservation, noise reduction, and community livability. And whereas our forefathers who settled in the desert had the foresight and the courage to plant the trees we now enjoy. And whereas the climate and special beauty of the desert Southwest are valuable resources enjoyed by many and should be taken care of for the sake of our children and our children's children. And whereas the city of Coolidge has been designated as a Tree City, USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation for our commitment to improving the urban forestry program in our community. Now therefore be it resolved that I, John Thompson, Mayor of the City of Coolidge, do hereby proclaim Friday, April 29, 2022 as Arbor Day in the City of Coolidge and encourage all citizens to participate in this celebration and realize its importance. And Bob, our old city manager, Bob Flatley, was involved in that, and I know that Ricky does a lot with that Tree City and the Arbor Day stuff, so thank you guys, appreciate it. We'll move into the monthly report by the Chamber of Commerce, and I thought I saw you. There you are.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. For November, we had 19 reinvestments and one new member. Our reinvestments were Garrett Motors, Sabora Ice Cream, Chandler Gin, Coolidge Cotton Pickers, Hatchers, Tax Cafe, Country K9 Grooming, the Windmill Winery, Tractor Supply, M&S Equipment, Hospice Compass, Community Christian Church, Barnett's Better Buys, Max Air Conditioning, Casa Palomino, ED2, Pinal Hispanic Council, Sun Corridor, St. James, the Apostolic Catholic Church, and ASU. Our new member is Bejeweled. Bejeweled. It's a van that drives around and you can buy jewelry out of. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Our November visitor report, we had 107 local, 7 in-state, 4 out-of-state, and we had 3 foreigners. So that's encouraging. So we had a total of 411. Visitors year to date is 7,146, which is up about a little over 12% from last year. November, the Casa Grande was 4,692. Year to date is 46,134, which is up a little bit over 9%. Our marketing campaign we've been working on was a real success with the Town Grinch going around to the businesses. It was well received, and I think it gave the notoriety to the businesses that they needed during the season. We just finished up as of December of our COVID-19 reimbursement grants for the local business, where we received $45,000. We were able to give out over $30,000 to local businesses for reimbursement for things that they needed, and over $14,000 in marketing. So we're really proud of that. I think that grant had a good impact for our community. We are now working on another grant that I'll tell you more about later that will be directed at tourism marketing, getting people from outside our area to understand all that we have here to offer. December, we had the Arizona Water Company talking about Every Drop Counts campaign. And if you haven't viewed the video, we have it on the chamber website. It's a great campaign. January will be our Arizona at Work, and that's going to be a great opportunity for local businesses to learn about more tools that they have available to them for hiring and training employees. In did have to cancel the T Rose grand opening with a family emergency, but we hope to get that back on the schedule soon. Any questions?
Speaking of the water company, how are your new neighbors treating you?
I'm sorry, thanks.
Speaking of the water company, how are your new neighbors treating you over there?
Well, they're not in there yet, but we're really excited. We'll be glad to have the construction crew out of there. They filled the parking lot, but it's been great, and we're really looking forward to it. They'll be a great asset to the area.
Anybody else? No. Okay. Thank you, Ben. Item 5, approval of minutes. The City Council regular meeting, December 13th, 2021. Does anybody have any corrections, any comments, anything they want to do? If not, any motion to add?
Mayor, if there's no further discussion, I make a motion we approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Go into business items for consent. You don't know how the consent agenda works. Does anybody want anything pulled up for consideration?
I want to pull number 8.
Anybody, anything else? Okay. Item 6. Consider approval of the street closure request from the VFW Post 3713 and the Pita Patio Grill for a Pitmasters fundraiser event being held on January 29, 2022, from 6 a.m. until midnight. I didn't want to pull this. Who handles these? Ricky, do you? Is this your?
I did not handle this one, but I can speak to it.
Well, the only thing I'm concerned with is the last one the VFW had when I was over there, I talked to the people from Brown's, got up to me, and nobody had notified them. This is a long time for some of this stuff to be closed over there. Do we notify the other merchants?
Well, it would be up to them to notify, so it would just be us, Norma or myself, reaching out to the VFW or Pita Patio to make sure they're letting everybody know.
Okay.
So we can do that, no problem, tomorrow.
All right, I just want to make sure because we had the same issue when certain guys had a place over there on Main Street with the flower shop.
Certain guys, yeah. Yeah, I got you. We'll handle that for you.
All right, thank you. Item 7. Consider approval of entering into an intergovernmental agreement number 2021-01 regarding reimbursement of salary, overtime, and employee-related expenses incurred due to the Coolidge Police Department's participation in the Pinal County Narcotics Task Force ACJC grant, DC number DC 22010. Item 9, consider approval of entering into a cooperative purchase agreement between the City of Coolidge and Craftco Incorporated for the purchase of a new crack seal machine for an amount not to exceed $65,000 plus applicable taxes for the Public Works Streets Division, utilizing the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Contract, utilizing Pinal County road tax funds, and waiving the sealed bid requirements in the best interest of the city. Need a motion to act on those?
Can I ask you a question? So you didn't pull 6, right? Not really? Okay.
Oh, I didn't pull 6.
Okay. Mayor, I move to approve items number 6, 7, and 9 as read.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. Move to 8. Consider approval to accept the bid approved by Xylem Dewatering Solutions to purchase a new trailer-mounted trash pump and 400 feet of discharge hose and all appropriate fittings for the final purchase amount of $55,864.79 for the Public Works Liquid Waste Division.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor.
Good evening,
Mr. Vice Mayor, members of the council. This pump was sent out for bid. It's one that we need for our dewatering. It's also one that this particular piece of equipment is the trailer-mounted trash pump, and it's a pump that's capable of handling solids, and it's trailer-mounted, so it's portable. So in the event of a failure at the lift station, we can use this and go to different lift stations, and the 400 feet of hose will get us from the lift station into the next manhole downstream, so that we can bypass the lift station if we have an emergency at the lift station and work on that. Any other questions? This is also, you will have noticed in the bid that this was not the lowest bid, and the reason we're recommending this for approval as opposed to the lowest bid, when they put in the bid, they put in just a really cheap hose. We anticipated more of an issue with that, but the main reason is the lowest bidder that we reached out to said they wouldn't be able to get the pump here until 3 months. The other one said that they can have the pump here within a month. Xylem said that they can have the pump here within a month.
Okay, so that was my concern, is that it was $10,000 more for the for this particular pump. I was unaware about the hose difference. I spoke shortly with Zach about the different styles of hose and the different styles of couplings and like that. And so I understand with the couplings that this hose comes with that they're messy, they're nasty, they're rough to deal with, and so I understand that. My other concern was the time limit. We haven't had one before, so I figured we could wait. But with the hose, he also informed me just now that this company is local, so it's in Phoenix, and so if there was an issue, we had to send the machine back for whatever reason, and it was not under warranty. We'd be having to pay freight charges, and freight on something that size would just be, it'd be killer. We'd eat up that $10,000.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Councilman, that's absolutely correct. And also, when we were discussing the option, if there were an emergency, we had to send it back, they also mentioned to us that they would provide a loaner pump in the meantime.
And speaking about emergencies, I understand that we have one of the old fire trucks over at the wastewater plant. Would that be possible to actually pump a lift station with that fire truck? Or would it just not have the pump capacity? I know there's so much more, it's not water that you're running through there.
Right.
And so I didn't know if that would be possible. If it was an emergency, the pump was down, could we use that possibly as a backup?
Potentially we could, but with the fire truck that we have there, the reason that we salvaged that or poached that from the fire department is just, some of you may have seen the video where we had the trailer pump stirring up all the sludge in the beds. We figure with the fire truck, it's no longer being used out on the roads. We can reduce the capacity of the insurance based on the characteristic and what it's being serviced, what its use is, will reduce the insurance cost that we have to pay for that. And basically, we'll just use that with the nozzle to stir up the sludge and get it into a slurry so it's easier to pump, so we can clear out all the solids from our treatment lagoons.
Okay, that's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Anybody else? Up front? No? Okay. There's nothing further, I need a motion to that.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion we approve item 8 as read.
Second.
Second, Norma. Okay, motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving to business under regular items, item 10. Consider approval of a final plat submitted by Hildegard Wilson on behalf of Walton Global Holdings for a re-subdivision of Landmark Ranch 4 located north of Martin Road between 9th Street and Kenworthy Road. Welcome, Mr. Lopez.
Mayor Thompson, Vice Mayor Hudson, council members, this is Walton National. This is we already did the set Landmark 2, 3. This is Landmark 4, and it's located in the northeast corner of Martin Road and Kenworthy Road. It's 32 acres with about 119 lots. So they're moving forward to getting these ready so they can put them out and start putting in roads and all that. So this is this was already recorded on November 9th, 2006, but they wanted to make some corrections on the geometry and just minor changes to the plat. But what it allows us to do is require the more current street width, 36 foot, and also the 5-foot sidewalks instead of the 4, and allow them to do some staggered fronts, but have the 20-foot driveway from the property line out to the sidewalk. So it allows for the larger vehicles to park in front. So the Planning and Zoning Commission heard this on the January 5th meeting, had a public hearing. It was unanimous to approve it and recommend it to you. And so I'll answer any questions you may have.
Gilbert, this is similar, I mean, not exactly the same items, but it's very similar to what happened on the Martin Valley ones we just looked at a while back. Where they were doing some different things with the setbacks. I mean, I see some of these are a little, that have to do with some of the 1 foot on some of the
Mayor, the Martin Valley one, the last one we did was a variance for some of the setbacks. It's similar to some extent, but these are the front yard. So this is the layout that we'll have on the plat that's recorded, and just updates it to what we're doing with landmark 2 and 3 and some of the stuff in Heartland.
Let 3 of these be the same.
Yeah, 2 and 3 and 4 are right contiguous to each other, so in that big area right there. So we did the same thing with those other 2.
The street's going to be wider in here?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah, their current standards, the streets will be 16, the 32 plus the 5-foot sidewalks, which meets the ADA versus 4. So this allows us to do that.
The only thing that I was saying, I don't know about these other guys are younger than I am, except maybe for Councilmember Hudson, but, you might want to do a little bit bigger lettering in some of these things, because even with a magnifying glass, you can't really tell anything about some of these maps that you give us.
Oh.
So you at least give us one that.
Yeah, they're 3 by, they're large, so I didn't want to.
One, but one that you can at least read, even Councilmember Daniels, who has eyes like an eagle.
I apologize.
But anyway, that's my only suggestion is, because it's all going to be the same, but at least we'll know, we'll have a general idea of. That's my
Okay.
only, because those maps are, read, right?
Yeah, thank you. I'll note that for sure.
Anybody have any questions?
No.
I'm good. Kind of need a motion to act, right?
Mayor, if there's no further discussion, I make a motion that we approve item 10 as read.
Second.
There's a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Item 11, consider approval of entering into a professional services agreement between the City of Coolidge and USIC LLC to provide utility locate services within the City of Coolidge wastewater service area, waiving the city's bidding requirements in the best interest of the city.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of the council. This has been an ongoing issue with all the development that we have. We have utility locate services that we must provide by law to anybody that calls in for utility locate. It could be a single homeowner, it could be a developer, it could be a utility company who has lines that they have to repair. And so the process for this, I'm sure some of you are all aware of the blue stake and the requirement to call it in, and we have to go out and market. With all the building that's been going on, we have anywhere between 30 and 60 blue stakes that come in a day. And with the staff of 2, plus the additional help that we're getting from EUSI, we just don't have the staff or the manpower or the time to go out and do these. And so USIC is a fully vetted company. There was some discussion between us and our attorneys and USIC as far as the liability. We reached to a compromise. We've accepted their terms as far as the liability. Really, they capped their liability at $5,000. If they mismark a sewer line, it's not nearly as crucial as if they were to mismark a fiber optic line, cause damage to a fiber optic line. They would be responsible for any damage up to the $5,000, but realistically, with any error in sewer, we don't think that it will approach that $5,000 limit. This is a company that is providing services for other municipalities and other utility companies, and so with the economies of scale, they'll be able to come down and do the sewer line, the electrical line, the gas line, whatever other contracts that they have for utility locate services. And we feel that for the interest of the city and the staff, that you approve this agreement for them to provide the utility locate services. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Well, the contract, I guess, was pretty tough reading, to tell you the truth. It looks to me like they're going to do a lot of it with GPS. And how are they going to stake it? If they're reading it somewhere else with GPS, how are they going to stake it? Or do they come out here and do the GPS while they're here and then stake it, or what?
The construction staking services is not part of this. This is We are just asking for utility locate services. So if somebody calls in for a Blue Stake utility locate ticket, they come out and mark our sewer line. There are instances where if they get a Blue Stake in the area where we don't have sewer, then they'll just respond over the phone. We don't have sewer in this location, they won't need to make the trip out here. This won't provide any staking services for the city. That's just in their typical contract that they have.
So all they're gonna do is call you back and tell you that we don't have it here, but if you do have it, they do have it in the area.
They'll come out, they'll verify it with the GIS system, they'll verify it with us, and they'll go out and physically look at it, inspect it, and then mark it out in the field.
Mr. Mayor, it's only sewer, and pretty simple, as I understand it, they're marking from manhole to manhole. That's where the sewer runs, pretty much. Is that right, Matt?
That's correct. We don't mark anything, and by law, we don't mark any services, any sewer services that go from the main line up to the property. We have GIS information. We can say approximately where it is, but by law, they don't have to mark the utility services for the individual parcels of land, and we never mark them either, just for the same legal requirements.
So this isn't for gas lines or
No.
cable or any, it's just sewer?
No, sir, this is strictly sewer.
Oh, okay, well, that makes a little bit of a difference. Okay, because I was gonna vote no, but if it's just sewer, then they should be okay with that. You've got maps of where the sewer is.
That's correct.
All right, anybody have any questions?
Now, if I read this right, it's basically $15 Blue Stake that we're paying for. How long is this contract for?
It's for a year, and then it automatically renews
Automatically renews? Okay.
from year to year.
I just wanted to make sure it was for just for a year and we can renew it like that, because when things slow down, if we're getting 45 Blue Stakes a day, I mean, by the end of the year, that's $250,000. It's a chunk. And so if it was going to be something that was 5-10 years, we might look into hiring another body to go out there and mark. But for however long this goes, we have no idea. It's not worth bringing somebody on and then maybe having to let them go. So, all right.
And where's that money coming from? We didn't budget for that, did we? We couldn't, we didn't know we were going to have that.
It will be coming from our professional services, and when we're going through the budgets now, we're going to be increasing the professional services funding for that. Because this is something that we couldn't have anticipated it was going to be coming in with all the development coming in.
Mayor, Mr. Mayor, we pay for it now through our staff time. You know, and basically, we don't have the staff time to go out there and market all. You know, our two staff guys at the wastewater treatment plant are busy with the wastewater treatment plant. So this is really an affordable way to have this service rendered to the, because we're responsible for providing the service. And we just want to do it through a contractor rather than have our people out there doing it where they don't have the time to do it.
I have a question, Mayor. Matt, so in other words, the two employees that we have right now will not be doing Blue Stakes, or they will help?
In an emergency, they will, but they have so many other responsibilities, and there's only two of them. We've tried when they were busy with the lift stations, when they were busy with the operations of the plant. Jeremy Hansen was stepping in to help out where he could. I've stepped in to help where I could, and this will just allow our staff to focus just on the operations and the maintenance of the wastewater collection system and the wastewater treatment plant.
And so when you speak that they have the GPS, now does Jeremy, he does the GPS for you, for the Public Works?
To some extent, yes. We're actually in the process of recruiting for a GIS technician for the development services department.
Okay, but I wasn't sure what Jeremy did. I thought he was doing some GPS down there.
He does some, but a lot of what we were doing, when we would have the utility locate requests, we would look at our GIS system, figure out where the manholes are, figure out where the lines are, go out and field verify that yes, the GIS system is accurate, and then we would mark it accordingly.
Okay, so we do have that capability also?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Would it be a possibility to have one of the streets division guys actually pick up the slack with this and hire another street division?
Mr. Mayor and members of the council, we're having a very difficult time hiring people. We're losing people faster than we can hire them. just found out we lost another equipment operator, the second one now. They're having a very difficult time keeping people. Hiring is right now a very complicated, difficult thing. I struggle with it every day, whether it's PD or Public Works or planning and development. I mean, we have positions we're trying to fill, and they're very complicated.
It's a worker's market right now, and we have the same problem at Garrett Motors. I mean, people claim bonuses to come to work, and I think this is probably the cheapest route to go right now at this time, and trying to find somebody to hire full-time with all the benefits and everything we pay, especially if things turn around and slow down some.
And Mr. Mayor, Madam Councilman, if I may, we're actually getting into the point now where we're going to be fully involved with our road reconstruction projects, and so we won't have time to have our streets department dedicate to assisting with the utility locating.
Well, there's only so many people and there's so many things to do. I guess something's got to give. I am kind of curious, since you knew you were going to bring this in here tonight, and good old Councilmember Navarro asked a pretty good question. You mentioned the money. Is there any idea based on how many we did last year? You know how many you did, how many blue stakes or whatever you did, if you were doing a lot of them. Or did these guys help last year?
No, they did not. We did all of them in-house last year.
So then you would know how many you did. Based on how many you did, do you have an estimate on how much this is going to cost us on what you did? Because we did about the same amount of work, didn't we?
We may have been busier this year than last year with permits.
Well, we don't know, do we?
Well, I know we did 700 new home permits this year, which is a record.
We did almost 700
Yeah.
last year.
We did 400 or 500 last year, I think. Did more this year than last year. Some of these blue stakes were called in more than once, too. It's unfortunate. You can go out there and blue stake something. If they don't do their project within a certain time, you've got to re-blue stake it.
Give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
How much would it cost for 450?
Well, 30, what do you say, $15 a blue stake?
It'd be roughly about 7,500. Is that?
I'm going to figure it out. I'll get
I'm
you.
just curious to what we'd be looking at.
And that's just single-family homes. There may be other things that get done as well, Mr. Mayor. But so, get my handy-dandy calculator if I can find it here on my phone.
7,000? Was it, 700 permits? Oh.
6750.
Yeah.
I can't find my calculator on my phone. 6750?
It'd be 6750. They're going to call in the blue stake multiple times. The blue stake only lasts 15 days from when you call it in. Then it'd have to be re-upped. It'd have to be redone. And that's pretty much how it works.
Okay. Another employee if you can find it. All right, anybody else have any other questions? Hearing none, we need a motion to add.
Mayor, I move to approve item number 11 as read.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Item 12, consider approval of change order number 1, increasing the compensation by $75,000 for the landfill closure project contract with M. Anderson Construction Corporation for the water conveyance system for the installation of the final cap in accordance with the approved landfill closure plan, and authorizing the city manager to execute any necessary contract documents.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of the council, as you will recall, we brought forth to you the results of the bid opening for the landfill closure. M. Anderson Construction Corporation came in at the low bid with $935,000. The other bids came in at well over $1 million, anywhere from $1.3 million to $1.7 million. M. Anderson had some concerns about the water conveyance. We said in the pre-construction meeting that the canals that we were using, that have used in the past, may not be available. He estimated his bid based on the availability of those. After receiving the notice to proceed, he contacted the canal company to see if those would in fact be viable source and was told that no, they will not. And so the $75,000 is to increase the water conveyance mechanism. What the contractor intends to do is to place a water tower on private property. He's been working with Lauren, who's the proprietor of the tire factory, to put a water tower on his property off in one corner, so it's out of the right-of-way, and then the $75,000 will help to accommodate for that. Even with this change order, the $1,025,000 is still less than what we have available in our budget, as well as any of the next lowest bids.
Do we have any idea if this is going to be the last time we're going to have to go back to the well with these guys, EPA or whoever it is that's pulling the strings over there?
Well, we have gotten the approval from ADEQ to move forward, and they are pleased with the progress that we've made so far. Where the EPA is concerned with the monitoring wells, we've told them that yes, we intend to do that, but we haven't entered into negotiations with them as far as the location of the cost of those monitoring wells. We are aware of that, and we'll be putting that in for future budgets.
Mr. Mayor, I think it's important to also let each of you know that the water that is used for this project will be domestic water coming out of a fire hydrant. It'll fill up the large tank that will be installed. The city will be on the hook for payment of the water itself, the water that's used. It'll be metered, and we'll pay for the water that's used to keep to get the proper compaction and dust control for this project. That's not part of the bid.
Oh,
It's not part of the bid.
okay.
And it's not a huge number. I've had a conversation with the water company, talked to them about it. We've looked at maybe if we could use some water out of another canal somewhere. They started talking about all the things we could try to do. And then I said, look, this is 17 acres of landfill. We need to introduce a little water into a high clay content soil, get 95% compaction. I said, I can't imagine the water use is, 17 acres, maybe an acre foot or even 2 acre foot or 3 for that matter, is going to be way less than having to go with one of these other mechanisms and acquire water and go through all of the time it takes to get the Hohokam Irrigation District or somebody else to even agree to have water pumped out of their canal system. So we are under a time frame to get this project done. ADEQ has imposed a deadline.
Well, then they need to keep changing the rules.
They aren't changing the rules. The water's there. It's just the man who did the bid assumed that he could take water out of the CAP canal where the earth berms are, where they took the dirt out of the recharge basins. He was hoping to put a hurricane pump in the CAP canal there, introduce water into the dirt there, and then haul it to the landfill and compact it. But there's no excess water in those CAP canals. They told him you can't do that. So that's really why he had to come back here with another mechanism
So
to convey
these
the
other
water.
bids, we're going to have to pay for the water with these other two bids.
Yes.
So that the cost of the water is going to, whether it's this company or the other two companies that bid it, the cost of the water is still on us.
That's correct.
And also, keep in mind that this bid came in extremely low. I mean, I was there when the bid opening occurred. The guy gulped very deep, wondered why his bid was very low compared to the other two. I was a little bit nervous. We did have a report from our engineer that estimated that this project was going to be in the just
about
under
$970,000.
about 970. So it made him feel a little easier. But he says there's so many in this environment today with trucking and fuel costs and everything else. He's pretty nervous, but he's ready to do it, ready to get started. I'm going to do a pre-construction conference next Monday and get him started on this project, this landfill closed, which is what we all want.
There's a guarantee a date when he's going to be completed.
We originally told him the deadline of the end of February. However, with the water source and getting the water tower established, he asked for an extension for 2 months, the end of April. We approached ADEQ and said, this is what we propose. Is this acceptable to ADEQ? And ADEQ said, yes, that's fine. So we told him the end of April has to be done.
So he can't go back to the well no more.
That's correct.
what are we looking at for possible water cost?
Can you go
I
back to
didn't
the
think
land
about
there?
that, that is kind of funny.
I don't know the official amount of water they'll use. I talked to the water company. If you had to buy an acre foot of water over 17 acres, it's in the $15,000, $20,000 range.
15, 20,000. Is there an option to not do the water tower and have them run a temporary hose? I've seen them run the temporary hoses and everything and set up to where they can fill their trucks with a hose, or do they have to use a water tower?
They don't have to use the water tower, but for case in point, our standpipe is only about 150 gallons per minute, and so it would take 40 minutes for the trucks to fill up, to go back and forth, and it would probably be even less for the hose, because of the hose, the closest fire hydrant is a half a mile north, and so to run half a mile of hose, you would lose a lot of water flow from friction loss.
Yeah, it's a long way.
They're going to scarify the top layer of the soil that's out there that the city Public Works Department put in. They're going to scarify it. They'll bring that water truck over the top. You don't want hoses or anything over the top because they're going to scarify it. They're going to run a water truck over it and then bring in a big compactor. Start compacting that, get a 95% compaction, and build it from there.
We going to enter into some kind of a lease or something with Warren over there? Or with Warren at the tire factory?
I think he's already worked that out with
He's
them.
already worked that out. We told him from day one that if you decide to do that, that will be between you and the property owner. City's not getting involved with that at all.
And I think that agreement includes him cleaning up the property a little bit there after he's done. Get some kind of cleaning it up, which he's willing to do.
So that's not going to cost the city.
Correct.
All right. Anybody else have a question?
No.
All right, then we need a motion now.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve item 12 as read.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Reports.
Thank you.
Start down here, Ben.
I didn't do a whole lot, but I did spend some time out at the wastewater plant with Zach. He gave me it wasn't the nickel tour, he gave me the dollar tour around there and gave me the ins and outs of everything that's going on. We see a lot of this stuff that comes up, and I just want a little bit more information on it. So we went around town, we looked at lift stations, we looked at everything. He ran everything down, what's going on with it, what they plan on doing with it. There's a lot that's been going on out there, and I would not go in those holes either, in those lift stations. There ain't no way. Not enough money in the world to make me go down in that hole. There's no way. But, no, you guys have been doing a lot out there. So I'm glad to see everybody's real excited out there. They like what they do, and that's a plus. Like you say, it's a hard market right now, finding somebody to come over here, and they seem to be enjoying it, and I'm glad for that. Also, something else I wanted to mention is that the Doctor Road is coming up. We're going to be doing a cleanup soon, and so that's going to be February 19th. We're going to be out there at 8 o'clock, so if anybody's looking to advertise their business, clean up town, whatever's going on, that's coming up. So anybody's looking to participate and help out their fellow neighbor, we got that going on. February 19th.
Starting at 8 o'clock, is that right? 8 a.m.?
And that's what I got.
Tatiana?
I don't have anything to add.
I really don't have anything to add. I just would like to thank all city staff as usual and doing a great job with the few employees that we have to work. So anyway, thanks a lot.
I have nothing to add.
All right, Rick?
I don't think so. I think I appreciate the mayor and council's concerns about the landfill. I'm excited about getting it started. I think that's something we've all wanted to see closed for many, many years here, so it'll be a real good thing to get done, and I can't wait till it's over and done. One of the other things we will have to do, though, not related to what we talked about, is there will be a monitoring well requirement. We have to put in a monitoring well, right? And that's a requirement of ADQ. It's part of the post-closure monitoring well to make sure that there's no leaching of any kind of landfill material down into the water table. So that'll have to come up and you'll see that in the future in terms of another expenditure. It's not inexpensive to close these.
Just like the miners, they do these gas stations and these tanks that are in the ground.
Oh, I know, Sam. I mean, and I do want to acknowledge the wastewater treatment guys and also our consultants that have been helping tremendously on that. And I think you'll see an item coming up. They are doing some things outside of their task order related to the sludge removal, and they've been doing quite a bit of work out there. So I think we'll be bringing a task order to you for a little bit of another task order that they believe that they need to be paid for that was outside of their scope of work. I mean, that's just one of the things that we'll have to end up doing.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add, so I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.